Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. I'm Junchan, and we're back doing some Haskell and playing with some old code from 7 or 8 years ago, and by virtue of which we're actually putting our Nix skills to the test once again and trying to get this to build and learning a bit about the Haskell build system from 7 or 8 years ago. Something that's not immediately useful, but hey, why am I doing this? Well, actually, because I'm interested in developing or thinking about how would you best represent a Zettelkasten indexing system in memory, and the structure of this made me think, and the existing software didn't seem to use some of that layout that is originally in the paper Zettelkasten, which is kind of one of these trees that grow in such a fashion where you can just insert things on the original linked list and sort of grow trees from that, and create an ordering that allows inserting that way. And I don't know whether originally it was really meant to also represent topic by topic connectivity and grow out a sort of if not a hierarchy of topics, at least a natural progression and linking of topics between each other. But I think it was because each card was supposed to be focused on one idea. And so that's one of the things that I'm interested in reproducing, because that seems like something like a way of organizing information that I just seem to naturally fall for in my own way of organizing, which is that I tend to, open paragraphs and then open subsections and then open up more items and then, make them maybe interactive or not, and then come back to them and maybe allow things to be summaries of other documents, and then drill down and drill more and add things and ad infinitum. And so this seems like maybe a structure that I'd want to use for, or at least that I want to try, and I want to use something that's maybe overkill for it, but I don't really know whether it is, which is to use this work that Edward Met has done 7 or 8 years ago on, not on structured graph, on cache oblivious data structures, which preceded some work that he did then on succinct and compact data structures. But we're looking at the cache oblivious part, and in order to just, learn about how he implemented them, by virtue of which I'm understanding a little bit better how you do low-level optimization in Haskell, at least 7 or 8 years ago Haskell. But hopefully maybe I can also update my knowledge based on how things have moved. And then I can see whether it's a fit or not at all, this type of cache oblivious structures for something like that, and whether it would bias anything significant. The cache oblivious aspect means that in a modern CPU architecture, it will optimize the way in which you'll be loading your data into your different caches in a way that when you're repeatedly or streaming through a portion of the tree or the data structure, everything will be nicely fetched in advance or already present in the cache. And the cache oblivious aspect is that it's tuned for basically an arbitrary cache, so to speak. So it's it's like a bit like the equal temperament in a piano. It's like the worst possible tuning you can have. It works in all tunes, but it's slightly wrong for all tunes. But it still works pretty much in all tunes or tonalities. So that's the same for caches. I actually didn't even think of that analogy. It's pretty good for those who know about temperate keyboard tuning. Anyway, this is all the theory, and like often in this stream, our meeting with reality is a little bit more systemy, meaning in our case Nixie. And specifically, we are just, well, it's a mix of Nixie and then Kabali from from 7 or 8 years ago. So right now we're dealing with progressively trying to fix all of the compilation error that seems to be going from a mismatch of version of packages, and I couldn't get the right match of package versions that Ed was using. I'm not sure why, but I couldn't. So I did try quite hard, but at some point I had bounds that just couldn't reconcile. And I don't know whether I picked the right bounds to work off of to try and reconcile those errors, but I picked a path and I've been following it down. So it might be that I haven't documented well enough why I chose that particular bound, which I think is specifically it's not linked to transformers compat. It's actually linked to, I think, vector. And I picked specifically vector 10, 12, 3, I think. And that seems to be the earliest one that supports versions of deepsec and GHC prim and primitives that are within these bounds. And so that's the one I'm going for, but it's leading to some compilation errors which I've been trying to squash one after the other, which seem to mainly come from, well, the first ones came from I think compatibility with GHC prim, basically. GHC.exts was exporting some from list things that apparently were bothering GHC. So I fixed those, but now I'm back down to having more things to fix incrementally. And the way I've been doing this is I've been checking out these projects locally and adding them to my Cabal projects little by little. So I had to fix vector first, I had to fix adjunctions then, and now, I mean, I don't even know whether I properly fixed adjunctions, and now I'm fixing hybrid vectors. But then I'm back into a problem which seems to be related to a change of API with the vector library. And I think some of this is actually, well, some of this is in the hybrid vectors package, but some of it is also in the structures package. And I know that because I tried to solve these dependencies on another computer before, and I was trying to do that by, how was I trying to do that? I think maybe I just tried to bump vector to the next version. I don't exactly remember, but I was getting into this difference of package names from the vector library. And in the new, or in the vector library that we're using, which seem to have evolved in API based to the one that it seems both hybrid vectors and vectors are written for, which tells me something, by the way, that I'm not realizing now, and it's good that I'm coming back to this after, having some rest and everything. Let me drink a bit. Makes me think that maybe my vector bounds should be swapped, should be lowered, even if that means bumping into those compatibility errors with the I think with, well, deepsec, I think, and primitive. Although now that I'm looking at it, I'm realizing, well, yeah, I think basically I got into a bind because I was trying to lower deepsec and primitive to allow vector to work with a version bound that would be slightly less than the one that has this API change. But I was lowering it so much that, in fact, at some point I wasn't in line with the right GHC version. And to be honest, I haven't then tried to lower the GHC version. But I think lowering the GHC version is going to be tough because I'm using 7.10.3, and I get 7.10.3 from Nix packages by actually reverting Nix packages to release 18.09. And so that got us JC 7.10.3 in the cache. I tried to lower this. It's not there. It's not even in the release, actually. So that means if I wanted to go a bit lower in GHC, then I'd have to even go back before a release, which might even mean going to a place where we won't have a cache hit anymore and we won't have GHC being already built. And I really don't want to be there. So I suppose then what I'll try to do, rather than keeping to get GHC down, probably since in the end, if I'm ending adopting some of this, then I will need to update those to a more recent version of data vector. Then I probably need to, put some work towards moving forward rather than moving back, basically. So let's do that. Let's have courage and try and solve these things we know very little about. Okay, so let's see where this pretty big error starts. It starts with matching bool with actual M5 bool. So that's a pretty big difference, and I think that's because I fixed, and this is I think in hybrid vectors. Yes, it's hybrid vectors in internal. It's because I changed stream here. I think. Let's see, how did I change it? Well, it's simple. We can go into it and whoopsie, and get diff. And data vector hybrid internal, I changed data vector fusion stream monadic. There were two of them. There was a data vector fusion stream and a data vector fusion stream monadic. And that API has evolved. I think it's going to be quite complicated to get this, but that means that we'll need to learn Fusion. And you know what? Or at least learn what the Fusion interface for the data vector stream, how it has evolved between these minor versions. So it shouldn't be necessarily too difficult. And maybe that will get us a basic handle on stream fusion for vectors in Haskell. And that's actually something I kind of want to learn. So it's probably worth actually going off that tangent. So let me officialize this by saying that we do have a data vector error, but it becomes a kind of a tangent. And you see how data custom would help here. And learn about the data vector fusion stream monadic package, or module more exactly. Module. And what's this? Yes, it's me doing a Macintosh keyboard shortcut that is strike through for Nix. Okay, so I probably first need to just go back to where it was. So let's do that as a beginning. We had, at least have it as a comment so that we know where we started and we can keep it in front of us. So we had this plus import data vector fusion stream as well. That was what stream was before. And data, well, okay, these have been ordered, which probably I shouldn't activate formatting, is really what should happen here. And in fact, really, I should not. I should just check out and get back to where it was, because that's trouble. Okay. Right. I suppose I need to do SRC. Okay, we're good. And yeah, HLS. I should probably deactivate HLS as well. LSP, Haskell. Well, we can't do it at the project level. Nah. This is so unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Okay, I need to find this. This is going to be very annoying. VS Code, Haskell, NSP, deactivate on project. Okay, disable. This is not the VS Code extension. This is it. Disable. Per workspace basis. Remove the Haskell enable configuration option. And that would be in some project. Okay, where would that be? Disable extension per workspace basis. I need to save this as a workspace. Save workspace as, and put this here or here and call this structures. Save it, which is not going to fix anything, but then maybe now we have some preferences. Okay, maybe workspace settings. Yes, we do. JSON and settings. Is that going to be here? Haskell enable false. Maybe even like so. How's that going to work? Maybe you need to reload. That might disable the whole Haskell. It might not even enable. Well, it's actually it's not correct. Oh, remove the Haskell enable configuration option since VS Code now allows you to disable extension approach. I see. Okay. So right, I didn't read that correctly, and so we can remove this, and we can then think about extension deactivation, extension settings, add workspace, no, extension settings, and copy settings as JSON, workspace, there we go, and how do we even deactivate? Let's go configuration, indentation rules, completion, liquid, so executable path. So it sounds like I need to deactivate the whole extension then, which I don't want to do, but I suppose I have to do. I still have syntax highlighting, so maybe this is not too bad. Okay. Oof. Okay, let's pop back the stack. What are we doing? Where we have reverted our changes such that we can now compile build and see the old error message, which is simply that there's no module data vector fusion stream. And so the reason why there's no module data fusion stream is because as I was mentioning before, the container, the vector version we're using has changed its API. And so we need to know more about this API in order to fix the problem. So hopefully we won't need this anymore. And then just let's just get vector here. And this is the version we've been looking at, 0.10.12.3. And the changelog explains that two different changes were to allow building with primitive and DeepSeek, and then also non-HHCs, and then exporting M vector, which I think is this, and then, well, there's nothing. Right. Because it's not vector that changed. It's, or is it? Hold on. Data vector generic. Hold on. Data vector generic. Data vector fusion stream. Right. Oh, but hold on. If that's the case, and if I can download vector, then I should be able to actually bump it back to where its API was the way that the others expected, because I had to change, I think I had to change adjunctions and hybrid vectors at least because of my vector change. I think it's not completely clear, but if I checked out another commit from vector, which didn't have already that change for data vector fusion stream. Actually, I'm looking at this and I see that the version I checked out is not really 0.10.12.3 because this doesn't have. Okay, so I need to fix that. Okay, where am I? Okay, let's go into vector and I think we didn't check out a tag. We ended up checking out a commit, and so we detached. I'm pretty sure we are. And what did we change in the end? Yes, all of these formatting things make things completely unreadable. So you know what? I'm going to just ignore that. And we are at 1FB207. So let's go check out the repo and try and understand. It's not structures we're looking at right now. Definitely not ETA or XRC. Let's clean up. Next packages. We should be mostly done hopefully with this. Okay, here we go. So that's the commit. And it seems like tag to 0.10. Oh, check this out, 0.12.3, not at all 0.10.12.3. Ooh, hallucination, not good. All right, so let's go back in time a bit more to where primitive 06, that's what I think troubled or confused me. It seemed to me that this is what allowed primitive 06 to be available, but apparently it's on the tag 0.12.30. I don't know, maybe that was its typo too. I have no idea. Okay, so that was 1FB blah, raise bound for GST param. And then some patch was applied. This was the PR for DeepSec. This was that commit. And the data vector fusion bundle seems to be, I think, is the new API. Data vector, the warnings. Data vector conditional. It's a bit of a mess, I think. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's 0.11. I think maybe I was getting backward from 0.11. Maybe that's why. Let's go back to the tag list and see again. 0.12.3. That's from 4 days ago. So I don't know if I was reading this correctly. 0.11 and 0.10.10. Third. So I tried to start from around here, or at least yeah, I think I did this and then commits. So I think I was misreading that whole message. 1FB or 1FB2. This is wrong, I'm pretty sure. I think this means this is the latest tag in which it is, and this is the earliest tag in which it is. Probably more like so, right? Okay, so we do have this checked out, but we know we need to find a commit before this, where just before the API was changed, and so we need to find a commit where there was a data vector fusion stream as stream, because now there isn't anymore. There's data fusion stream monadic. So let's bisect, right? Because this is bundle monadic, stream monadic, so it sounds like that's already the new API. And so let's go for this isList. Interesting, because isList was one of the conflicts. Maybe we need to continue going a little bit back in time even from there. Let's take a look at the dates, because it seems like there was a lot of work on May 27th, May 26th, all from Dolo, and then other isList. So let's check out over here, like as a kind of bisecting point, and let's see whether the API was fusion streaming, fusion stream. No, there was monadic there. So yeah, so I'm pretty sure, I hope I'm not lost in space here, but we shall find out by continuing to go back in time into change vector maintainer. Wow, we're going back in time quite a bit now to 2013. Okay, let's go at updated changelog right there. Let's see what data vector fusion stream monadic. Is it possible that this was pulled from? Let's look at the package documentation. There was a data vector fusion stream right there. Where does source go? It was in stream monadic. So is this just documentation error? I don't know, because the hybrid vector internal problem. That's the one I'm looking at right now. I think there was one in mix that was more complicated than that. The vector fusion stream. Hold on, I'm losing my head here. When I made the change to data vector fusion stream monadic for stream, then it spit out this error. Which really is about G more than, I don't need to go back to hybrid, which is data vector generic. It's more about the type of G. And has that evolved significantly? So there's a G dot stream. There is, and in this version it should have, wow, so many rules. Stream, I can stream. Right, this returns a bundle, and I think we want a version that returns a stream. So let's go into, let's go back to this, and let's try it that way, and see if we can blame the stream function on line 1900. Holy moly, this is big. Unstream, stream, bundle VA. Okay, let's go back in time. Facets to bundles. So there used to be facets. Rename stream to facets. Stream VA. And that would be quite a while back, presumably, at, where did this show me the commit? Normal view. Commit is here. Let's go check out which version that was. Zero 10. I can kind of buy that, even though this is starting to be really a long time ago. Yeah, I'm not sure whether this is the right the right way to troubleshoot this. Okay, let's think about it again. In this code, it's actually data vector fusion stream monadic. So that's actually using the more recent API. It's hybrid vector that is not. So maybe it's just hybrid vectors that I haven't chosen carefully enough. And I'm focusing on vector, but maybe vector is fine. Okay, so let's stay where we are here. Go to hybrid vector. Understand our version. We're at v0121. And why are we at v0121? Let's check this cabal. Hybrid vector, right, because it's supposed to be less than, strictly less than 1. And slightly less than 1 could be 022. So let's pick up master instead. How about that? And then let's just rebuild. Could be that I just misread this, less than 1. I don't know. Or it could be obviously that deepsec should be fine, primitive should be fine, vector should be fine according to those bounds, but apparently not. Rejecting vector 011. Did I end up actually checking out? Yes, I did, and I need to just change that. Tensor 3. Okay, well, we're on our way back to compiling, not the world, just compiling a few things. Okay, so while this is happening, let's go check out the star of the show, the data vector map. So presumably this goes fast for, okay, we failed. Okay, so those we fixed before, and I just deleted them. I deleted them, but I think I could reflog, right? So let's go into vector and git reflog, and then git checkout. Maybe not. I suppose I could have stashed them, but okay, fine. Data vector. It's in data vector, and it's first 223. Right, and it's about, in fact, hiding a few things from EXTS, I think, or data primitive array, maybe. Yeah, importing for data primitive array, that's it. So hiding from list 10, and I think that's it for now. I think there was another one, like his list or something. and cd and compile build. Yeah, so that's enough to build vector. So now it's going to try and build a hybrid vector. And hopefully, without checking out this weird tag, maybe we'll get further forward. And so, yes, let's look at our start of the show. So supposedly with this, with the lookup, well, lookup is fine. It's just a key. So I suppose a range, if you know the keys, is just lookup. So as Ed was saying in that video I watched yesterday, in his Mozilla talk, I think, about this package, at the end, at the end they ask him about how to do range queries, and he says, well, you just find the beginning of the range, the end of the range, and then it's should be easy to do a k-way merge with that structure. And so sure, how do you get, once you have the beginning, then how do you sort of stream or just traverse or walk the key iteratively? It might be just very simple. It's just that I don't think it's in here. But I might be wrong, but we need to find that out. Okay, failed to build lengths, failed to build hybrid vectors. Okay, 0 to 2, and so the errors are hard to find them. There we go. Could not find module data vector fusion stream. So that's the same error. So despite us being at 0 to 2, we still have that. Oh, well, we don't exactly have that old API, but something's not right. Maybe this bound is not right. Maybe because Ed was doing development with a version that said 0.11 there. Okay, so let's that's interesting, because then I'm a little bit tempted to go to vector 0.11 and then just fix the bounds from that. Is there a way I can do that? Let's see if that's possible. Okay, let's dash this down. And tag. We do mean 0.11 here. We do mean 0.11. Let's try that. Let's see what fails. Right, so that's actually structures that fail. So let's just bump that bound right there. Or let's say like whatever. Actually, 11 seems like it's properly legitimately the only one in before 0.12 for some reason. I mean, we don't know about I don't know about all the world, but at least here. A vector algorithm needs a lower vector. Maybe we say, well, take a slightly later vector algorithm. but then slightly later vector algorithm says says no because of y. That's a strange error. You're conflicting with the vector. That we don't want to use. Okay, but you're rejecting also vector 011 for some reason, because you say it conflicts with vector algorithms. Because vector algorithm 09 still depends on vector blah. Okay, let's take a look at vector algorithms. And yeah, well, okay, hold on. You're trying vector algorithm 07. Why are you trying something so old? Why don't you try version 8 instead? So first of all, you're trying 0704, which might be in your database. I see. You don't have it. Is it that you don't have it in the index state? I thought we actually got rid of the index state. Maybe we have not, but I think it's probably possible to get rid of the index state. Might break everything, but it doesn't matter. We can try. It seems to be bumping up a bunch of stuff, but actually it's happy with it found a plan. That's the thing. So I suppose maybe we move forward here. Step 21 of compiling data vector is going to be a hint about whether we're in the right track, because if it conflicts again with the GHT, the data primitive array, then I won't know what to think. So let's just wait and see what's up. Yeah. So what was I saying? I was saying that I don't know how to start from start doing a lookup or know a key. Let's say because we did a search and we get the key. Oh, well, we do have the exact same errors. Well, it's fine. It could be GHC version that is a bit more fiddly with the ambiguous occurrences that make those errors instead of warnings. So let's we know how to solve this. We can probably go into vector and slash pop, and that should, yeah, that works. And so that should actually be enough to get past that step 21. Let's see if that's the case. And yes, so let's imagine we did a lookup. No, a lookup is based on a key. So right now, I don't know whether we can do searches. Probably we can't, but I think maybe in a map we're not supposed to. So that's probably fine. So in a map we have a key, and then how do we iterate? there's no instances that I can tell. Okay. Shortcuts problems again. There's just a show instance. I don't think you're supposed to use the show instance to go through things, are you? Probably not, because this is lower abstraction that is even not exported, right? Yeah, chunks are not exported. I mean, chunks are, yeah, no, chunks are defined here, and they're not exported. And while lookup operates on maps, lookup1 operates on chunks. And search operates on integers. So into bool, maybe that's kind of a range query actually. On keys. Predicate on keys. A starting position, and then the length of keys, which is the length of the chunk of keys, -1. So that's definitely a predicate over the whole chunk for a key that respects a predicate on keys as integers. Okay, so that's the way to find a key that lies somewhere in a chunk. All right. Okay, failed to build hybrid vectors again. I could not find module data vector fusion stream. In another module, but let's reset and come out build again. Yeah, in same place. This hybrid vector internal, and let's double check. But we are 0 to 2, so that's the latest version, and we should have main version vector 0.11.0, right? No, because I changed the kbar file and in vector. Yes. So I need to go in vector, and I need to check out vector.kbar. Hopefully it's smart enough to know that even though I changed the kbar file, vector doesn't need to be rebuilt, and it's not. Oh no, it is. It's only rebuilding the last step. Cool. So now hopefully this pragma or this if dev is going to be picked up. Okay. Continuing. So I'm really thinking that this simply just hasn't been built. It's just the thing. This is a constructor. So let's start building it. And what would it be like? It would be, well, it could be like 2 lists, you know, really. It could really be that. And then we'll probably need same bunch of stuff, except that we'll take a map KV. Okay. Take a map KV. And return a list of, I don't think we want to do that, do we? I suppose we could get the submap. That would be a nice, neat way. except that it might be wonky, and so that's an issue, and rebuilding it might be costly. But conceptually, it's a bit like getting the submap. Okay. Maybe I should look at an implementation and the API from data.map, since this is supposed to be a replacement for data.map. That sounds smart. If I may say so myself. All right, data.map. Oh my, my browser is really dying a bit. It's sad. Okay, data.map has insert with key, insert lookup, fold for with key. That's it. Are they supposed to be? Or no, maybe that's not it. That's container 061. Maybe we need to go to contents. Yeah, I need to do something there. Wow, that's actually pretty damn recent. Okay, Haskell range query interface for maps. Range map. And out of range update. No, that's not, it's not gonna help us, I don't think. Submap. Is submap off? Okay, so that's just like a set membership basically. So, but split's interesting, but again, that we're not gonna find a nice line to split on. So that's a bit tough. I mean, we can look it out at some point, but it's not easy. Like rebalancing also with filter, yeah, I think it's going to be a bit tough. Conversion, folds. So the strict map seems like it has a super big API. So are you saying to me that the lazy map just doesn't? No, it's not the case. It's just that it wouldn't load the whole haddock. Okay, so let's look at the lazy map. And how is this done? Query, lookup size, so there's no such thing as a actual range query unless that's min max. Minimal key, lookup max, find min, delete min. It's not exactly that, right? And this is on keys, is it? Minimal key of the map, yeah. And those are good stuff to implement, actually. That should be a good exercise. There's a show tree. That will be pretty useful, I think. I kind of want that. Actually, I want to play with that in regular Haskell, to be honest. So maybe I should just have another terminal up where I'm in a what is my version of, what is, if I compile, well, let's see, what's my version of GC? The ambient one is 8.10.4, so that's good. Think about REPL. Can we import things from here? Probably not, right? So let's go into shared workshop, and then, well, let's just make a directory for like structures playground, and then go in there, and then Cabal init. And unfortunately, we can't do Cabal install. Wouldn't that be nice? But that's fine. Build depends. We shall add containers. example. And import data.map. And can we browse data.map? Yeah, we can. Great, so we should be able to do a singleton, I suppose, right? Yes, so let's do a singleton. Well, yeah, let's start with saying A is a singleton of a key 1 and a value A, right? And then let's insert, and what kind of inserts do we have? We have insert lookup, insert with key. Am I using the strict versions here? Insert, this is a simple insert. We take a K, an A, and a map. Perfect. So B is going to be insert 2B and A. And C is going to be insert 3C and B. And then we'll show tree C. Okay. Let's debug that show tree. Okay, maybe we want to put stir line off it. Yes, we did. Lovely. Okay. So that's our balanced tree. It's rebalanced. Actually, we can put stir line of this, and here we have A at the top and only B on one side, and here obviously just one root. And so yeah, so that's the, what is it, trees of bounded balance. And we can do something like put stir line insert for DC, and then added B at the top, and then expanded the tree on the side. So that's definitely super useful to have, and I think we should simply start with implementing that, because it's fun to actually represent what the data structure looks like. It will help with the intuitions around it. So, and well, we could call it show tree, why not? And what type would it have? Well, it will have whoops blah blah blah, and that's show tree. Showcase show a map k string. Sounds perfectly reasonable to me. And then we'll have to simply do the exact same type of stuff that I suppose you would do when you do a lookup, for instance. I think that would be a very good starting point. Except that you wouldn't have a K, so you wouldn't need to recurse on that. You'd probably need to just, I mean, we might need to go, to be honest. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we can just, I mean, maybe we can, hold on. M0 was what there? Right, go of the constructor. Go of LA. That's in case the thing is there. okay, I didn't want to do this, but I think probably this is more appropriate. Okay, show tree and show tree and show tree. And so that's empty. We say empty, boom, 0. That's an M1 of A's. So A's are a chunk, and chunks have a show instance. Awesome. And but don't we have? Oh yeah, no, they just have a show instance, and that's it. So wow, well, we actually don't have to do any work. Is that? I like that. And then A's and then we recurse. But yeah, we have A's, B's, and well, and a thunk. Well, do we want to display the thunk? I suppose we actually kind of, maybe, do we? No, let's not. Let's just say that it's a thunk. That's in the spirit of the library, I think. So we show A's. We might want to say, I don't know. We probably need to format this correctly, but I don't know how to do that right now. Show B's, and then right, and then like we say like there's some kind of thunk here, and then we show M or show tree M. Oh, no, because that's LA. Oh, but well, if it's an LA, then we're good. Oh, but we need to unpack the LA. Oh yeah. Okay. Forget about that. Damn. So you know what? It's nothing. We can. Well, okay. It's not nothing. Let's keep it around, but let's revert apart from that, because we kind of needed that initial map thing, and we don't need to look up. Well, no, we don't need to look up into it. We just need to say, well, we need to display the M0 actually, because it needs to be displayed first. But then there's an LA, and so I suppose we go LA. I suppose that's fine. So we show tree MV, in fact, but this time it's a data map internal debug show tree of MV, and then we go LA, and then that's the thing, and then that's the thing, and then that's the thing. And let's look at our compilation. Holy moly, we have linked structured drop structures. It worked. Did it really? But what's up with MWC random? Why didn't that work? Yeah, no, it's not happy with MWC random. But we can't find one that's less than 0.15. Oh no. Well, then maybe that's a job for next. Maybe we can get MWC random from the crazy raw git list of Nix packages. I think I kept that around. Holy moly, I didn't. My hoarding has failed me. Damn. Sorry about that. Okay, well, no worries. Should be somewhere in, I suppose, the library and history and show or history. That's not going to be so trivial. Row git, that's the guy. And here we need MWC random. MWC random. And yeah, that would work. 014 would also work. So let's get 014. And wow, I remembered that we needed a super. Oopsie. Super and packages and packages. And then we need to exit next develop and rerun this. Hopefully. Ah, yes. We probably. I'm a little bit surprised actually that it isn't picked it up, even though I called it the wrong name. Maybe because I called it the wrong name. Yes. But it's a bit strange because it should have been here. But hopefully now we will know even better that it was here. Why did also this doesn't show lower bound? So clearly we did have an MWC random. We had MWC random 013.6. It depends on vector. It's not great. Well, let's see whether it makes things happier. Okay. So, okay, so yeah, show tree M, and then here, well, pretty much the same thing, huh? We show A, B's, and except now we show C's, but what's in C's? In C's is, yeah, right. So this one is the one that we're adding to. These two are the one from M2 that we're still waiting to merge, and we will merge them next. So here we kind of want to somehow, maybe here we want to show this thing as part of a kind of a tuple implicitly in some ways, and then like that, and maybe with a pipe in there, and then we say, well, we put the pipe here, but we say, well, that's the tuple, and that this is now kind of a new thing that we're adding to. I don't know, that might not be nice, and we'll need to think about not making this be on the same line, but I suppose that's a start. Let's say it's an implementation, might even work, who knows. It's going to be wonky because show tree is obviously wonky, and yeah, I need to learn how to do pretty printing. Maybe we take a look at how show tree does it. But okay, fine. It might be a wonky implementation, but it is an implementation. So that gives me momentum to think about why don't we have right range map, the range min library, good old data map, the function split lookup, splits a map into some map of keys, blah. Yeah, all that split stuff, but as I said, it would require rebalancing. Yeah, and this is wonky. I don't know why you give me this. And let's move to recent version. Again. Oh, that's what happened. Not smart. Fine. Yeah, so min-max is an option. There is quite a big API here. Let's look at it. Empty singleton from set, from list, from ascending list, descending list, insertion, delete, something to look into at some point. Update, which I guess is a delete plus an insert. Is it? It's update with key, which is, no, it's its own thing. It finds the key and then sort of changes it in place, I suppose. Goes down. I don't think it needs to rebalance, does it? It seems like maybe it does, actually. Why would you need to rebalance? Update with key at the value x at k, if it is in the map. If if x at k, if fk x is nothing, the element is deleted. If it is just y, the key k is bound at the new value of y. Yeah, so that shouldn't really need to rebalance anything. Oh yeah, no, it should, because nothing will rebalance. Yeah, is that right? Just compare. Okay, when is go f? When is f applied to k? Here, k is fk blah, nothing, glue lr. You don't rebalance it after, or maybe glue by rebalances, I bet. Yeah, maybe we need something like a glue, and then something like a split. It's going to be hard though. It's going to be hard. There's no glue in the public API. There should be. What? What? Or was it in the import list? Map internal. Glue. If that's cool. Blah, where? No, that is in the export list. What's going on here? 641. 641. Used by the strict version, I see. But here we're looking at data map. Okay, it uses the strict glue when isn't that a bug? If update with key is meant to be lazy, but that we're gluing with the strict glue, won't that delete laziness? I mean, it depends how glue is implemented, but if it's glue two trees together, assume that are already balanced with respect to each other. Yeah, right, that's true. That's data map internal. It doesn't seem to be, well, it is strict in max view, wherever that does, and min view. I don't understand these view concepts yet for the data structures. Okay, well, let's not debug data.map. I mean, it might be a bug in my understanding. It's very plausible too. And okay, we seem to have been going here. And can we keep our bench now? We're still going to have our MWC error. Seem to be building a bunch of stuff. We seem to have MWC random, but 0.15.01. Okay, so it is not a problem. It's a problem with these bounds. Why do we pick up 0.15.01 from here? Could we pick it up from somewhere else? Doesn't look like we could. Could it be because that's what's in that index? That's very possible. So let's go into a 2018 index. How about that? So that's going to have to rebuild a bunch of stuff, but let's see. Let's spy whether we get a new, or we need to get out clean probably now, which is not great, but it is what it is. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't even build. Okay. So we built with no index. Do we need to keep out update? If we have a new index state or an old index state that we need to download. Index state is newer than hackish.org. Going back to older one. Yeah, there's clearly some confusion there. Okay, let's come our bench, and yeah, it doesn't work. For vector algorithms, I don't get it. When we had 2015, it built fine, and then when we moved the index, it built fine, and then 2018, it doesn't anymore. Yeah, maybe I'm actually. Maybe it needs to be closer to today. Maybe vector algorithm would then work. That's the case. And MWC random 0.14. Okay. Such a weird mix of dates. Well, we shall see whether that works. Definitely sprinkling a little bit of magic powder there. Okay. Yeah, I did Control C. Finally picked it up. So we were looking at the map API. Okay, update with key, alter. That's a traversal, right? No. Alter the value x at k, or absence thereof. Right, okay, something that knows what to do if the value isn't found. But it still takes a given k. It doesn't walk through it. So is what I'm looking for like some kind of traversable instance for maps? For data.map. Instances with the proper order instances. That's right, there is a traversable in order of increasing keys. So that should be a model, I suppose. That's maybe what we should do. Obviously, that doesn't traverse from, but I suppose if we had submap and traversable, depending on, obviously, I suppose we could have a what I'm imagining, a bit like the balanced trees, the equivalent would be that a map that's arbitrarily cut at some bottom minimum index k, minimum key k, it's going to be sort of split sideways, whereas, and then if you end at k prime or I, or if you go from j to k, then you're going to have a bunch of stuff that are cut against the grain of how the data structure is created. So you're going to, if we're able to just traverse that, then that's pretty cool. If we need to actually use that submap later as its own cache release data structure, then we need to sort of rebalance it, which in our case means a whole other level of smarts in how we need to rearrange that thing. There might be an elegant way to do it. In fact, if we have a nursery, that might even be easier. The problem is that this, I was thinking maybe if we had a nursery that's a variable size, then that would be so convenient for this. But otherwise, we might have a problem of having to just realign everything to fit in the proper chunk length or width. And that's not good. But a traversable instance still makes sense, I think. And a foldable instance definitely seems to make a lot of sense. And it's implemented with traverse with key. Behave exactly like a regular traverse, except the traversing function also has access to the key associated with the value, which is great. That's like a for loop. Yeah, and it should be fairly easy, right? But this doesn't have a starting key, right? So what is the part that has a starting key? What's what that construct called? Query find with default lookup littler than and greater than. So sounds like lookup between would be 1. Largest key smaller than the given one and return the corresponding key pair value. Yeah, no, that's not exactly right, actually. Yeah, it's not really what I'm looking for. Okay, so not that. Unions, differences. Compose is fun, but merge map with keys, cum map keys with monotonic. K1 to K2. Yeah, no, that's the transformation of keys for our strict full conversions, key sets, set of all keys, lists, ordered lists, filter, restrict keys, restrict the map to only those keys found in a set. Well, with a contiguous set, but it's probably inefficient. Partition. A partition is also interesting. Probably also the partition, which, yeah, well, the partition that's not a value-based partition, but the key-based partition, right? That keeps the middle map, which sounds a bit like intersect, but intersect takes 2, or differences takes 2 maps, right? Let's look at differences again. Our intersection. Yeah, so it's not that. And difference, still not that either. Yeah, because that's all kind of value based. Partition, take while antitone. Take while predicate on the keys hold. Span antitone. Divide a map at the point where predicate on the key stops holding. That's a range query in my imagination. That's something like that. And then that k bool is just the key is littler than and greater than whatever. And then you get the map that covers the span. P is not actually antitone. If P is actually not antitone, then span antitone is split the map at some unspecified point where the predicate switches from holding to not holding. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And then we also have split. Let's split at the arbitrary point. Split lookup. Also returns the lookup k map. With a maybe a in the middle. Yeah, it's fun. Then split root. Oh, that's based on the structure. Interesting. So you can introspect the structure. Then submap is submap off, right? So that membership, and then indexing. Look up the index of a key. Yeah, that's cool. That sounds like it will require some traversal. LM at specific index, right? So, right. So you can. That sounds like they would be linked to traversals, those, right? Delete. Take a given number of entries in keys order, beginning by the smallest key. Yeah. So that's fine, but you can't take from and like take or take at. Neither can you, which in our case is still has that complexity of rebalancing the output. Fine. Max those are for keys. Look up the minimum. It returns the key and the value. It does 1 and nothing if the map's empty. Okay. Delete update min view. What's that? Retrieve the value associated with the minimal key of the map. And the map stripped of that element. So it's a deconstructor. So maybe that's what's meant usually by view. Like pattern matching on the minimum element. It sounds like an elegant way to build algorithms with maps. Okay, and that's it. Wow, so there's not really the stuff we want. So maybe that range min advice from Stack Overflow that we saw, maybe that's actually range query. I think it was just a range min library on Hackage. That's what linear range min algorithms. The process is a vector, so that minimum element of any given subrange can be looked up in constant time. It is competitive against the C++ implementation, especially when compiled with RVM. Rolls out its own stream fusion system, running the vector packages issue with duplicated index variables and providing a few other special features. Packages API does, however, fuse with input vectors using the vector package fusion system. It particularly automatically recognizes input vectors whose element types have a natural order, preserving injection into int. Converts them and uses the specialized range min implementation for int vectors. Oh, you have lowest common ancestor there. So it's not an online algorithm, which is what Ed advertised, but then, okay, we need to check out whether these guys have an example, because that might be an answer to where is the GitHub repo. Oh boy, 2010, okay. GitHub rangemin, and does not exist. Damn. Rangemin Haskell. Okay, it's in an archive, but just as the package. Oh boy. Okay, there's a rangemin for parents and these succinct data structures from Haskell works. There's a Haskell rangemin. Oh well, that's the one we saw. And simple cursor. So let's filter by Haskell, please. And then we have only Haskell work stuff. Oh, well, post numerical rangemin. Matt Parsons, rangemin. Evaluation vector programming. Let's take a look at that Stack Overflow thing again. Oh, there's such a thing as a range set. Range map library. Rangemin library. Split lookup. The maps of a key letter greater than a given key. Yeah, certain kinds of range searching. Yeah. Interval maps. Yeah, it sounds like interval map is maybe the better concept. Can we derive an interval map based on that? And then segment tree, I think, is a similar thing, right? Stabbing query on a set of intervals. A stabbing query on a set of intervals. Efficient data structure for it is called a one-dimensional segment tree. Segment tree package provides an implementation of the data structure, but unfortunately, I cannot figure out how to use it. The interface of this package does not provide the right level of abstraction. Yeah, well, it is difficult to build APIs. 2008, yeah. Our interval boundary is true. From lists, insert, and then query tree. Takes an S tree. It queries a segment tree for the specified point. A counting query is a convenience wraparound query tree. Returns a count of intervals covering the point. SumB would be. Oh, okay. Right. So that's an aggregation. Okay. And then stabbing query, it takes a S tree of intervals, and intervals are a thing there, which have highs and lows, and then returns the one that cover the point. Yeah, I think int map does this. I'm pretty sure. I mean, interval map, and then, well, yeah, interval map, not int map. And that's maintained pretty much. Yes, it is. And I think that's a better answer, actually. Can I say so? Was 7. Okay, be the better answer. Yeah, sure, why not? And yes, it might be a stabbing query. In fact, do we have something called stabbing here? Not really. In fact, we only have inserts here. So what do we need to get here in order to actually have the proper API? We do. Okay, do you have something called stabbing here? No, you don't. But you have combine and interval queries. Containing, intersecting, within. Yeah, so within, that sounds like a stabbing query. Well, it depends how, yeah, what we mean by intervals here. But yeah, no, that really is this. Kind of want to play with that. I wonder whether you can make an interval map out of this. I wonder what the underlying structure for this is, and whether this is fast, and whether there are faster ways to do it. This is supposed to have efficient search. Which paper does this come from? There's also segment tree, finger tree. Ah, yeah, right. There's finger tree, split tree, and mesh set. Ah, thank you so much for doing this, Christoph Breitkopf. It's really nice to have alternative packages. And there's a simple example too. How nice. Data set, literal Haskell as well. Make type spans. Yeah, that stuff's beautiful. Excellent. Okay, where are we with compilation? We have the same problem with MWC, but how? We were supposed to have the right MWC random 014 right there. So it's setup that says that. And setup is setup.hs. So let's check out setup.hs, see whether it's doing something obviously wrong. Let's see whether that's a common thing from 10 years ago. Well, hold on. I think I actually went towards solving this, because now my thinking was, well, maybe it needs to be built in the system, because otherwise Cabal and the system GHC won't have access to it. And so, but then it should be accessible through this. It should be 014. Let's do Cabal info MWC random. It says 014 is installed. So what's the deal with that? Let's see if I do a search on MWC random. Oops, that's not a search. Whether some other error message will show up. Here it's compiling MWC random apparently. It's finishing compiling it, and well, an older version, the 014. Well, that's that one. So Should be fine. It's building it. Yeah. Very unclear what is happening here. Okay, let's try and zoom in onto this particular error message. See whether we can understand what it means. Fix yesterday. How did you fix it? That was in Cabal. It's linked to the Cabal version. We might be using a Cabal that's too recent. No, that wouldn't make sense. I think then it would be, this goes in the wrong direction, right? It could be, we have MWC less than less than 0.15 installed. Yeah, I'm not sure I get it. This was linked to the MTR version for some reason. That's in bootstrap.sh. So could it be Cabal itself that's saying this then? WC random. Could it be that the error message is so bad that it's actually saying that it finds MWC random being less than 0.15 and it wants it more than 0.15? And why is 0.15 in parentheses here? What a strange thing. Okay, we have a GitHub thing in shell check. Cabal build setup blah. Use Cabal update to download the build dependency for the current project. Okay, did I not? Is that? I mean, that sounds wrong, but okay, let's try that. Cabal update and then Cabal install dependencies only. I will kind of eat my hat if this doesn't work. It worked nicely here. Huh. Oh, that must be a step that's needed with a custom setup. I suppose that's possible. Okay, he's doing a bunch of weird things here. Writes tables for structure and vector and junctions. Yeah, that sounds wrong. Yeah, exactly, and there's no executables. So, not really that. Yeah. I suppose it works for the library where there's an executable, okay. Issue with dependency when trying to configure setup.sh. That sounds like it. How did you install the packages? User flag, then you also need to configure with the user flag. GFC package list, blah. Okay, I like that. Something I don't know about. MWC random has 0.14. And that, I think, is what we want. So is there a --user version of that? There isn't. So is there a Cabal configure? There is, and so maybe it takes some in order. Okay, I think the Cabal update actually, did it do something? Let's see. Cabal configure, does this has the end overview? It doesn't look like it does. Yeah, not sure whether that's what we want. In fact, not even sure that that's, I mean, that's the same error message. Dash dash is a flag when you configure. Does this change anything? Created a Cabal project local. But yeah, I don't know. Cabal build. Yep, still not. And it's true of Cabal bench as well, right? It is indeed. And could it be that we don't have NWC random? Maybe in the library, and we would need that. That's possible. Doesn't seem to be reaching out for it. Oh, what? That's... I see. I think that's Cabal project local overrides the Cabal.project. Is that what's happening here? We're using index 2020 now. Oh no, 2020 is the one we want. Well, I'm going to remove those things. I'm not... Okay, I don't understand. I don't think I changed anything there. Unless my user command did something screwy for me there. Do I need to give out update again? Give out clean? Can't find data vector fusion stream. Remember hidden package vector 0 12.3, but now we don't want 0.10.12.3. I think we want this guy who is 0.11.0.0. And we should get 0.11.0.0. Why do you use... We should have vector 0.11.0.0 here too. And yet... So it's data vector array. It's a vector fusion stream. Data vector fusion stream. That's what vector fusion used. and that's what source data vector should use. Okay, I'm at lost here. Why isn't this working? It was working a second ago. Or let's say it was failing further forward. This didn't seem to help. Citation broken reactively. Setup at least. Okay, what's that? You can't blame me for this. Yeah. Things back in the days were a little bit screwy. Yeah. I mean, it's impressive how much better they got. At least the following dependencies are missing. I wish there was a reference for this. Broken packages dependencies, GC pages check. It seems like it gives the Arch people a lot of trouble as well. I think I remember hearing about that. It could just be that I really need to revert Cabal to an older version. Sounds plausible. Is it this dependency? The thing is, I don't think it is. It's this setup stuff. Could the user bin run Haskell be an issue? Is this doing anything for us, or should I just comment it out? It's generating a build module. With some depths. Does this matter? And then there's some test depths. I'm not sure that matters actually. Maybe we can just get rename the setup.hs and try with that. Or replace it with a more standard setup, like this guy. It's actually compiling main. Oh, we're almost there. And No, seems like that's the new error. Well, we kebab built. No, we kebab benched. Okay. Member of the hidden package vector 0, 10, 12, 3. We do have a vector as dependency in our kebab file. A vector right here. Preprocessing. Okay, let's assume that it is still the setup function that's actually giving us grief right there. And maybe because of the run Haskell thing, who knows. So let's say that you're now nothing, and that maybe you become the new thing. And then let's bench again. Preprocessing still an issue. Maybe build. Why do you think you depend on 0, 10, 12, 3? Let's pin you more, maybe more aggressively than seems like maybe we haven't succeeded in saying that this should actually be 0, 11. And apparently you don't care. Will build care? Build doesn't care. It's compiling vector 0, 11. What's the GHT package command? That has a completely different version. And then the about info vector. That also says a completely different version, because that's the one from Nix, but it shouldn't matter, and it's not even this one. It's unclear where this one comes from when we should have been building with 0, 11. What a head scratcher. Should work with those bounds. Is that the whole world? Yeah, looks like it. Well, and we have vector 0, 11 right there. So it's a hidden package of structures, is it? Can it be? GHC make says vector 011. Okay, hold on. Did I go the other direction? Okay, let's look again. I did go the other direction. I went for the bundle way. Okay, well, I mean, this seems to say that this should be interchangeable. So it's just that we don't have size anymore. But damn, I did go the other way. Oh, boy. Okay. I think the problem is, no, but here we do have monadic. And maybe that doesn't have anything to do with the problem. Okay, array should be bundle, and then fusion I suppose should be bundle too. And oh, did I change the wrong one? Map, no, the now set. Okay. And slow. And then we're missing upper bound and size, or m size. There is an SS size. So okay, let's check for vector data vector fusion for upper bound, and that is in size. But it's bundle size now. Okay, bundle size. So we should have, I think we did a replacement like this elsewhere. Is that gonna work first of all? And well, it has not, because S has size but not yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I also import this. I mean, maybe also import this as M and then this as M. That's what I meant. Still don't have an M size. Okay, maybe we need to do it like so. So there's no size. And the size in bundle, data vector fusion bundle. I remember going down that path before. Oh boy. maybe we ignore slow, because I think slow as a whole is something that was actually a little bit of a different point in the design space. Market prosperity has been inferred as safe. That's just a warning. Okay. Then vector vectors set fusion, noise scope to max. Noise scope to max, and that's it. Okay, let's see if it's somewhere to max. It's in size. Okay, cool. But here we have a conflict, and I think we want the magnetic ones, or maybe not. Oh, I didn't realize it was bundle magnetic. Okay, I suppose I should try bundle as well. Yeah, like I do here, in fact. Ah, but I did. I am going around in circles. So, bundled as an export stream. Bundle magnetic doesn't export streams. Bundle size doesn't export streams. Only stream magnetic export streams. But the stream magnetic that we export are different than the ones that were programmed to. And looks like you're trying to run the Haskell language server when I asked you not to. Yes, so okay. GC 710.3 vector 0. No, but what we've established is that the vector version that didn't have the bundle was from complete prehistoric times. And we had to go back, I think, all the way to 0.10 to have fusion stream, magnetic stream, and magnetic size. I think 0.10.1 we did have it. 0.10.9 already shifted to bundles. So 0.10.1 would be the one we have to go back to. And I think that just doesn't work with our bounds. But I suppose that's an option. We could go back down and then up the bounds. So yeah, so we were trying here with vector 0, 11. So let's just commit everything. Let's just add everything. Oh really? You're adding restore -- staged. Okay, that's a little bit more sane. Wrangling versions. And then we can go into vector, and it's not going to be a submodule, so I think it's probably not going to work where we want. But yeah, definitely it's not going to work the way we want here. You didn't add some modules by yourself, did you? No. Yeah, I kind of need to. Well, okay, fine. I'll create a branch. Structures 0, 11. And then let's go back in time. Okay, let's check out where it could go. Right. Right. There was this. Okay, because at that time it was in code Haskell / vector. Wow. Okay. I am way past the moment where I should have stopped and cut my losses, but not my style. Just keep going. Let's go vector. So that's a certain point in time. When is it? 0, 11. 0, 10. 0, 10, 12, 3. There, that's way too recent, right? Yeah. It's a release branch. And we know we need to go to at least, we know to go before 0, 10, 9. So let's go to 0, 10, 9. And then let's look at the history. Let's double check this. 0, 10, 9. Conflicts, primitives, dev version, version number. Oh, version number. Let's see what's up. GitHub, hello. Is it too old for you? 099, okay. Well, so that was here. So bump version dependencies. 0, 10. So I think 0, 10. Could that be 0, 10, 1? so strange. Maybe that code was started before, because string monadic, this doesn't use size. So could it be that it's just that this stuff is the stuff that's older, using the older Vector Fusion API, and this stuff is the map stuff is slightly more recent and doesn't use bundle, or it doesn't use size. You know what? I think that's where it is. So again, I think we just stay with where we were. I think actually we're not in a bad shape. We can just just forget about the slow code. Forget about the set fusion code. Probably forget about the array code, but maybe that's not as important. But let's see whether it builds already. Vector map fusion. Okay, well, we don't have vector map fusion. I remember Ed saying in his talk that he couldn't get fusion to work properly anyway. Or the way that he wanted, for the shape that he wanted, to be precise. Okay, data vector map. Oh, he needs fusion for that. And this is the old API. If we do bundle monadic here as well, it's going to say, well, it's going to say 2max doesn't exist. Oh, yeah. The vector map fusion. It's saying a bunch of other. Yeah, right. No type constructor of class stream. And so we need to transform all of these in bundles, and then that means, but we don't exactly know what needs to change in the API, and then but then the main map depends on that. Data vector array. The data vector map depends on that, yeah. It depends on fusion. Okay, it still was, I suppose, give a shot to checking out that super old commit. for 0, 10. And test it out. And then release bounds on it. It's going to be one of the things we need to do. Rejecting vector 0, blah, 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 0, 10. Yes, because structures doesn't allow that right now, but we can change that back. And then that vector conflicts with deepsec. We can't change that. And primitive, and we can change that. Okay, we have some instance missing. We should be able to figure those out. Vector, where did fusion util? And we need an applicative instance for which box? 30 for ID. Okay. Applicative, and we're not going to invent it. I mean, it's identity. I should be able to invent it. Okay, let's invent it. Pure should be id, and what is it? Bind. It's that thing that has F A to B, FA to FB, right? And it's F star, right? X. And for it is fx. So is that it? It's not to ADB. Vectorial type IDAB. Okay, I'm a little bit ashamed, but I'm going to look it up in the future. How do I do this? Go to the commits. I can't actually go. Can I go to newer? I can't. Okay, I suppose I can go to 0, 10, 9, and then look at the code from there, and the vector fusion details, and there is no applicative instance at this date. Okay, fine. Let's go back to 0, 10, 10. That's not 0, 10, 12. Somewhere around here. Still not. Uh, 0, 11. There we go. IDF to IDD, IDFX. We need to unpack stuff. And same thing for box. And there you go. So clearly some of our woes are because of a Haskell, a GHC version that's picking up more errors. But that's not too bad. I think we can, hopefully we can manage this. Definitely more tricky. Mutable. Mutable.hs 76. Okay, let's take a look at what we have here. Mutable. And you're saying you want a generic instance for m vector. And why do you want that? In the instance declaration for net data. But this is commented out. This comment not working. What the what? Okay, hold on. Now we're in the right place. Vector data vector mutable. Data vector primitive mutable. Okay. Sorry about that. Data vector primitive mutable. 76. NF data. Primitive mutable. And NF data. But it's RNF. Can't make it an empty instance anymore. It's all fine. RNF not visible. Import control type sec. And same thing for data vector primitives. Data vector primitive. And therefore the instance is going to be the same as well. And yeah, that's right. It's just a vector here, and it looks like the constructor has the same number of things. Data, and same thing for data vector storeable mutable. So let's get this storeable mutable and imports and typesec and m vector, so that guy and this base. And we suppose that storeable is therefore going to have the same story as primitive. So we take this guy, we go here, and we take primitive and this, and we add it to net vector. Aha, a vector of storable is actually a different guy. It always has two constructors. And same thing for here, in fact, only one constructor. And no, two. And data vector unbox base. Data vector unbox base. Line 69. This vector tycon thing, is that it? Type of? No, it's not. It's here. Typeable. Okay. Typeable 1, typeable 2. Okay, let's go see what's up with that. Newer version, unboxed base. And that's typeable, has the same looking things here, but typeable vector 1 looks pretty much the same to me. So are we not importing the right thing from the typeable? We have an else there for a version, but it looks like that's not our issue. We should be fine with these guys, I think. You say type of one is not a visible method of class typeable. Is there, has this changed? Is there a slight difference in syntax I'm not seeing? Typeable 1 and type of 1. It looks the same to me. Oh, but there's an end if right there. Ah, okay, I see. Is that it? Else? Yeah, I think that must be it. This stuff can be now derived without any of this, I think. Well. No, yeah, just that. And therefore, we can just be doing typeable without the 1, I think. Yeah, that's it. Okay. And right, yes, of course, this stuff also can go. Except no, except it was actually needed. So I suppose comma, oopsie. Standard deriving, sure thing. And 56. And yes, those guys need some love, and that's this. And we're going to need to get RNF. Funny that some instances need have their instances removed and other have their instances added. Okay. And apparently we also need bang. Oh, but that's just some bank patterns. Looks like we have another module done. Yes. We know that guy. And hold on, wait. Oh yeah, we're back in data vector. Yeah. That's all good. We're just hiding from list and from list. Oh, we don't have from list n at this point in time. No, we do. Oh, so we get to compile our old vector. So now, will that? So that should solve our local structures code compatibility issues. We might have to revert a few of our changes to get everything back to the old API. But then we should be good. But that means also I probably can uncomment that, but it's not so important, so we can keep it commented. Hey. If we can run the benchmark, I'd be super happy. Oh, hey, DK78. Doing good. You're just arriving pretty much at the end of the stream, but it's good to see you. What's going on with you? I am finishing. Yeah, I'm finishing the stream. I'm hoping that I get all of these compilation errors from a project from 2013 to work by trying to roll back time in a whole bunch of different ways. And yeah, hope it's worth it. I don't know yet because I'm trying to compile it so that I can start programming a bit and see whether I can revive this old project of doing cache oblivious data structures with this kind of funky data structure there in Haskell. And apparently we can't build lenses anymore for some reason. And okay, it must be because of this. And that's not good. Source data vector generic lens. Is that in lenses itself? Am I going to need to patch lenses? Oh my god. I think I am going to need to either lower the bounds of lenses or compile it. Okay. Greater than 4. And we're getting which version? You're doing good. All right, excellent. Yeah, I hope you do. Do you do any Haskell? My work background. No, I am working. I do ops and Haskell professionally, and but I'm fairly new to data structure design, especially in the way that Edward Kmet is doing them in Haskell. So I'm trying to get more familiar with that. How about you? What what are your languages of choice, and do you work with them? 419 is our lens version. Okay, I wonder if I should bisect this or how hard I should push against this. Let's take an arbitrary thing. Let's just say 410. How about that? And you seem to be picking length 49. Very good. Let's see if that buys us compilation of the vector library. To be honest, I should probably take a look at the time, the dates involved with the lens package for, like, let's say 49 where we're at, and that the date was 2021. Yeah, no way that's going to work. Let's go to 40 2012. Okay, that's more like it. Let's go to, let's say 407. Sweet. Are you a noob? Going to university in September 1st? Yes. Nice. Excellent. Well, that's good. I hope you're going to be doing some functional programming, because, you know, that's the future. I'm kind of a fanboy, so I gotta share the love, you know. 407 is revised in 2021, but uploaded in 2014. So yeah, that's more like it. Like, so let's see what's happening there. Oh, holy moly! It actually seems to be working. It's compiling structures. Lens. It's still processing the library, so there might still be stuff that doesn't work. It's actually quite a big thing to compile. But yeah, 491 was when? 491 was really 2015. So now there's a good chance it will work actually. Excellent. That was a good bisection choice. Dependency management is one of these, you know, the unglamorous things of computer programming, because it's, you know, definitely not as nice as actually, you know, working with code. It's really working with all of the infrastructure below the code, all of the libraries and how they fit together. And, oh, you know, this new version of the library doesn't support this older version of the dependency, so now you're stuck. And that's really unglamorous. And usually, you know, you have tools to do this kind of stuff. But when you go back in time, like I'm doing, like going back to a project from 2013 and trying to make it work, it's pretty challenging. But I do have a superpower. I have Nix, and I'm able to pick Nix from that's old enough that it's had this old compiler version. And so I'm using all of my knowledge to be able to try and do it. And it's not huge in the Haskell ecosystem, but it's not as fun as programming. But, you know, I suppose each time I'm solving an issue like this, I'm learning a little bit more about it. Okay, so we failed to build lens 491, except so import of control applicative redundant. Yeah, so we need to go back even more, and so we're going to go back to 409, which seems to be pretty much in the right time range, or 407 is the one just before 41, and that's from 2014. So a good chance it would work. Oh, that's good. Yeah, you know what? That's what made me stream. Is that in fact the person that I'm trying to build the library of is Edward Kmet. He's used to stream actually on Twitch before, and yeah, I learned a lot, including about this type of data structures. Unfortunately, these days he doesn't stream so much, but yeah, his work is still around, and I've learned tons. I've learned tons after I had to learn tons to understand, you know, first 10% of what he was saying and then progressively learning more and more. Sometimes just the way it goes, huh? Okay, what doesn't work here? Lens 416, one installed, and then you're trying with Lens 406, but you're just skipping it. Why? Because it excludes transformer version 0420. I see, so maybe I need to lower the bounds in transformers then. Let's do so. Let's pick an older version of transformer. And apparently, why would that not work? Structure characteristic transformer version 0420. You're not actually able to get transformers from less than 0420. We kind of want transformer 03, but maybe it's not in the Nix package set as such. Okay, let's go check it out. Transformers. Yeah, we have 055, 0430, and we have transformer compat, but don't know if we care so much. 0430 sounds like it would work, wouldn't it? But maybe not. 0420 here is installed. Let's see, cabal info transformers. So in theory, we should be able to grab. We need to go down all the way to 030. Oh. That may be a bit brutal. And that's to install our lens version. So, okay, so maybe I need to try with lens 4.1. And so let's relax this. And then instead of 4.1 here, let's say 4.2. And let's try and build again. And still a conflict with lens there, so 4.3. I suppose we have to bisect a bit here, otherwise we're going to increment a lot. 4.5, 7. 7 still doesn't work. Because of contravariant. Okay. 4.8. What? Okay. Still contravariant. Contravariant is contrarian. 4.9. Didn't we do 4.10 earlier? 4.10 seems 4.9 works. Well, works. Let's say it finds a dependency, compatible dependency plan. But I think I'm going to wait for the next error message and then leave it here. Hold on. Data vector fusion stream? Compile vector now. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, you might fail with lens. You just have to recompile more things. Yeah, I think that's a good point for me to call timeout and to stop after going over an hour and a half or so. I've been streaming now almost 3 hours. So thanks a lot for watching, and I hope we make more progress in our archaeological dig here, and are able to actually use the pottery that we find and have tea with it. If you understand that metaphor, well done for you, and see you next stream. Bye bye.